Hi, my name is Sherry, and welcome to my podcast, Silver Tea. And this podcast is about walking, and it's about losing your mobility to walk. When I started having my chemotherapy treatment, I started experiencing losing my mobility to walk, which walking is just a natural robotic motion that we do every day. So we don't realize how important it is until it's gone. So when I was going through my chemo treatment, I had this very bad arthritis flare up. Now, just the other day before I did this video, this podcast, I thought to myself, am I blaming everything that happened to me on the chemotherapy? Or is it just aging? So I came to a conclusion after I tell you the story. I think you're going to have an answer yourself. So when I was going through my chemotherapy, I had this really bad flare up of arthritis, and I could not walk without some type of assistance. So I end up going to the doctor, but before I got to the doctor, I was in so much pain, and my doctor's appointment was like a month away. So I'm calling and trying to schedule an appointment, and they were giving me like a whole month from the day that I was calling. And I'm like, you gotta be kidding me, because I'm in pain right now. So she said, well, listen, you can go to the orthopedic emergency room. And so I did. And when I got there, the doctor that treated me told me this is a common thing to see with chemo patients that come in. They have this really bad arthritis flare up. So the doctor proceeded to give me a cortisone shot in my knees. And after that, it helped some. And she also sent me home with some pain medicine. So it helped. It helped just a little bit. I would say out of 100%, I might have got about 30 to 40% of pain relief. So I finally got my doctor's appointment, and I was telling him what happened. And my doctor, same thing. He said, I see this a lot when I have patients that's going through chemo treatment. But when I went to my oncologist, he was like, well, that's not something that we normally see. So I was like, well, it's not in my head, because this thing hurts. So it's not in my head. So the doctor, when I was in the orthopedic doctor's office, he told me about, well, since I had the cortisone shot and it didn't help that much, he was telling me the next level up was cartilage injections. I was like, ooh, cartilage injections. So do I need to be asleep for that? Is some type of surgery? He said, no, you don't have to be asleep. I inject your knee with cartilage that's made out of chicken cartilage. And I want to slow down so you can hear this. Chicken cartilage, which I thought was fascinating. But he said it's one of the stronger cartilage. So I said, at this point, I'm in pain. I'll try anything. And we know when we in pain, we just like, please, whatever, just do it. So it comes in a 3-part series. So I had to have injections done in my knees for 3 weeks. I went once a week to have injections put in my knees. But he also told me that this injection is very expensive, and I needed to make sure that my medical insurance was going to cover it. So he put in a request, an authorization to have the injections done in my knees, but I don't know what happened. His assistant put in for one knee. So when I returned for the first injection, I was only able to get the injection in the first and just one knee, which was, I can't remember if it was the left knee or the right knee. I don't remember. But I just know one of my knees, he only was able to do one of my knees on our first visit. So when I returned on the second visit, he gave me an injection in both knees. So I was doing this for about, I think about 4 or 5 weeks. 5 weeks, I think it was 5 weeks. And it was very painful. But after the injection, I started feeling a little better. But I was saying to myself, you know what, I really need to get back on my feet. I need to find a way besides having these injections, and I need to try to help myself a little bit. Because I was walking with a walking stick. Here was my best friend at the time. I was walking with this stick. It's painful when you're having problems with your knees and you're losing mobility in your knees, and you're walking with a walking stick, or you're constantly calling someone to come and help you walk to the bathroom, go get food out of the kitchen, or go to the kitchen, because I like to try different dishes. I like to cook. So now I can't even stand in the kitchen. So, and it was difficult because it felt like when I would call somebody to come and help me, I would say annoyed family member, but they were really wasn't annoyed with me. They were great support. So I looked up online some exercises that were good for your knees to help support your joints. So I was doing exercises that will give you joint support around your knees, and I started doing those. So remember, I already had all the injections, cartilage injections, and I was feeling a little better. So I started doing an exercise that helped a lot. It was to the point where I was able to start walking without my best friend. But I'm gonna tell you this, I still took my best friend because I was scared I was gonna fall. So I actually took my best friend with me everywhere I went. I thank God for family and walking sticks. So I want to talk about the physical impact. The emotional impact was more like grief. I was grieving the loss of not being able to walk anymore. I was sad. I was thinking to myself, am I going to have to be like this for the rest of my life? I started isolating myself, not going to events with my sisters. I love going to the flea market. So my sister, she's like, hey, you want to go to the flea market? We could get like a wheelchair. No, you could go by yourself. I don't want to put you through all that, and I'll just slow you down. I definitely was mourning, and I was isolating myself. I was feeling the grief of the loss of independence, the grief of the not having the same mobility I had before. And I want to talk about the physical struggles that I went through. Now, the physical struggles was mostly pain. You couldn't even lay in the bed. It was just aching. It was just aching. And discomfort. It would stiffen up. And mind you, I wasn't active as I normally was because of this. So guess what? I gained weight. So weight came. Now I'm gaining all this weight. Now I really, really said to myself, this cannot be it for me. I'm getting ready to find a way to get this done. So I did. So now I'm gonna put up here for you to see a video. Now I go out walking about 5 times a week, and that's usually Monday through Friday. And I'll hit the gym maybe 3 times a week. And it's never consistently the same day, but it's consistently the same amount of time most of the time. Maybe sometimes I'll have 2 days a week, depending on how sore I am. So let me talk about some of the benefits that you have when you're walking. It reduces the risk of heart disease, right? So you're lowering your resting heart rate, which is good for you. Your heart's not beating boom, 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 boom. It's relaxed. It's just beating slow. You have stress reduction. So now you're handling stress differently. You're not so stressed out that your heart rate is going fast. You're now feeling a little bit more comfortable and confident, so you're not going through a lot of stress. Weight loss. Didn't we just talk about weight gain? Well, guess what? The benefits of walking is also weight loss. That's a wonderful thing to hear. You want to hear that. You want to talk about getting better sleep and mental health. So you're sleeping better and you having better mental health. I also want to talk about when I go walking at lunchtime, how I have so much energy. When I go for a walk and come back, this kind of energy you had is better than having a cup of coffee. Can't beat that, because we all love our coffee. In my case, I love my tea, but it's better than a cup of coffee. Let's talk about the number one thing I didn't even mention yet. Whenever you are an active person, you lower your risk of breast cancer. You hear this now? You lower your risk of breast cancer by 12 to 21%. And maybe I should have led with that, but I was getting to it. That alone encouraged me to make sure I got out there and got my walk on. And so I just want to say this. You don't have to start out with 30 minutes of walking. Your body counts everything. Start slowly. Start 5 minutes, maybe walk 3 minutes there and 3 minutes back until you're able to increase your walking, because your body doesn't hold nothing against you if you only did 3 minutes as opposed to 15 minutes. And don't get out there and act like you a little bitty bop and you're 15 years old and you walking. No, you're gonna do yourself more damage than good. So I tell you this: start out slow. You don't have to do 30 minutes. Do 5 minutes. Do whatever is good for you, and start with a walking stick. Eventually, you're gonna throw the walking stick away, right? It's the walking stick gonna be out of here. See, gone. So just make sure that you just try to get out there and do something. Something is better than nothing, and start slow. And if you're going to go out and start your walking and take it seriously, and you want to maybe challenge yourself, you put yourself on a challenge and say, you know what, I'm going to challenge myself to go out twice a week walking for 4 minutes. There it is. There's a challenge. I want to make sure, and I'm saying this because I want to make sure that you get the right pair of walking shoes. It is so important to have the right pair of walking shoes. Your feet takes a beating. So you want to make sure your feet are comfortable in a pair of shoes. Make sure you have the right cushion to cushion your feet, a nice bed that your toes can spread out. And don't be trying to go walking with some pair of Sunday shoes on. I want you to go out there with some nice shoes on so you can get that good walking experience. So I want to say this in the end. Please remember this. This is very important. Early detection is the best detection. So please go and get your annual mammograms done. So if you like what you hear, please hit that subscribe, like, and notification bell. So when I release any new podcast, you will be notified. So until then, ladies, go out for a nice walk and enjoy a cup of tea. And this is cold tea with some chai tea, a tea bag in it. It tastes wonderful. It is unsweetened and I love it. There's just a little hint of honey.